So we are having a rare rain day here in San Diego. We pay for sunshine, we don't pay for rain. I got something a couple days ago I'm excited about, and since it's raining, not much I can do outside, so I'm going to take advantage and spend some time inside today. I've got a new TV to replace that TV. TCL, which I've never heard of before. I have heard of Roku because I did have a Roku box a few years ago. But it's like when I bought a Vizio 10 years ago. I'd never heard of Vizio at the time, but the price was right, so I thought I'd give it a shot, and it turned out to be a great TV. I've got two Vizios, and I love them. The price on this was just too hard to pass up. 55-inch 4K TV. I've often said in the past, you know, if you can get something that's 80% of the quality for 50% of the price, I'll certainly give it a shot. Especially when it comes to technology, because technology just outdates itself so quickly, and we have so much technology going on in our lives that why not save a few bucks? You want to help me put this TV together? Yeah? Yeah?
Seconds.
Ow!
4, 3,
oh, my foot.
1. Access granted.
Pásamelo. I don't even know if that's a Spanish word, but pásamelo? I don't think it's Spanish. It's really hard to tell the picture quality through a camera. But if you were here in person, I think you would agree that it's pretty good quality. ¿Te gusta, Mickey? So Aiden's a big fan of the new TV, and I am too. It took a little while to set up and download all the updates and the software and stuff, but it's reminding me, because I haven't used a Roku in a few years since I had one, of how extensive the library of programming is. It's actually pretty cool. As long as you have an internet connection, there are a ton of things you can watch without having to have cable. We have cable, so it's great, but it's kind of the best of both worlds. We got the Netflix set up, we got the Disney account set up. Mainly, we're going to be focused on like the cartoon stuff, the things that will keep him busy. And there's something about this mouse, this Mickey Mouse fella. It's crazy because there's a lot of cartoons that he doesn't even care about. Like 2 minutes into him, he disappears and walks away. He could sit through an entire Mickey Mouse episode. I don't get it.
The beacons have activated.
¿Te gusta?
Let this work.
I really can't give you a proper review on the 4K. The problem with 4K right now, and the reason I was kind of hesitant to buy a 4K TV, is that, for example, like DirecTV, I think only has like 3 channels that currently broadcast in 4K. So unless you're watching like Blu-ray DVDs or whatever it is, you just don't have many options. Now, I think in a year or two, we're gonna see a lot more channels available in 4K, and so then maybe it'd be a good option to have a 4K TV. But right now, 4K is a little overrated, I think. You know, it's an amazing picture, but most of the time you can't watch what you want to watch in 4K because it's not available. Other than that, this TCL TV seems pretty good. Pretty happy with it. Aiden's happy with it. Took a while to download all the software and get it set up, but that's all done. Everything seems to be okay, so I give it a big thumbs up. I give it 2 thumbs up. And then if you haven't watched our cruise videos, make sure you watch them. We had an amazing time, fantastic trip. Those are uploaded. You can view them here. I'll put a link in the description. And remember, like, share, subscribe. If you're watching this video, hope everybody's having a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
Enemy hero terminated. Double kill. Slain.
Excellent. The enemy will have to deal with a much larger wave of Zerg than we will.
You may have noticed more and more TVs popping up from Chinese brands you haven't heard of. These products are often a lot cheaper than the big name brands. But what are the pros and cons of going with a no-brand TV over something like an LG? Today we'll be looking at 2 55-inch 4K TVs. The first is from mine, sitting at just under $800, and the next is an LG 4K TV that's a bit over twice the price. Basically, all the big brand name TVs that are 4K also include features such as being a smart TV or HDR, so this bumps the price up. So, first thing you'll notice is build quality. Both look quite nice. The Mine TV has 2 separate feet on the bottom and a smooth plastic on the back. The I/O features 4 HDMI ports, a USB port for connecting a drive with music or movies, an RF antenna port, as well as RCA. Plus you also get optical audio and a 3.5mm port for connecting external speakers. The LG TV, on the other hand, has a single stand that stretches quite wide. The connection to the back of the TV is solid and overall did feel a bit more stable. The back of the TV also has a subtle pattern to the plastic housing, which doesn't affect picture quality, but it adds a nice aesthetic. The I/O on this TV is exactly the same, except one of the HDMI ports has been swapped out for another USB port, and it's also got an Ethernet port for connecting to the internet if Wi-Fi is not available. Bezels were similar. The LG was slightly thinner, but the material was also less reflective, which overall made it less distracting when viewing in the dark. Moving on to picture quality, both TVs have 4K resolution, and are just as sharp as each other, but colours are displayed differently. While I wouldn't call the Mine TV's colours flat, the LG's colours definitely popped a lot more, and contrast ratio was significantly better. Brighter parts of the image were noticeably brighter and clean, while keeping dark parts of the image at nearly true black. This is thanks to a feature called local dimming. When displaying a black screen, the LG TV will actually turn off the black pixels and only turn on the pixels that need to be exposed, resulting in a true black, whereas the Mine TV's backlight was always on. So when displaying a black screen, it actually looked like a really faint deep purple. The view angles, on the other hand, I have to give to the TV from Mine. While moving around the display, the contrast stayed rather consistent, whereas the LG TV had more of a noticeable shift towards the edges. So placing your couch in this TV's sweet spot is a bit more important. Another major difference is user input and overall features. Both TVs have Freeview built in, and both can play media from a USB drive. The TV from Mine had a standard remote with buttons for changing the source and volume, and arrow keys to flip through the TV's basic menus, whereas the LG TV is a smart TV, and the remote was a little more high-tech. By moving the remote in the air, you can control a cursor on the screen. You have a button in the center to select apps, and a scroll wheel for scrolling down menus. This TV was very quick at switching between apps like YouTube and Netflix, and you also have access to download more apps or even games. Although, the quality of the games were pretty poor, so I wouldn't consider that a selling point. But as for navigating menus, LG did excel with their remote. Again, it's up to the user to decide if a smart TV is right for them. It was cool being able to pick up one remote and surf YouTube. And the remote also allows you to search for things with your voice. But you don't need to buy a smart TV to get features like this. If you buy a Chromecast or an Apple TV, you can search YouTube and play games. It's just a separate purchase. So in the end, both TVs are great. For under $800, you can't go wrong with the TV from Mine. The resolution is sharp and images look good. If you want a nice 4K TV and don't need all the extra bells and whistles, it's a great deal. But of course, if you're willing to spend twice the price, you get a lot more with the LG. Colors are richer, blacks are deeper, and it has features like HDR and internet connectivity that all add to the overall experience. Next time you're in store, check out these TVs side by side and see what you think. I'm Eli from PB Tech. Remember to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.
Hello, today we're going to be looking at the Sony X800D 4K HDR TV. Right away we're going to start off with the back.
Fort destruction complete.
Hey guys, Kirk here, and I just picked up this 40-inch 4K HDR TV from Samsung to pair with my PS4 Pro. So I thought I'd put together a little buyer's guide on the matter. So let's check it out. The TV I have in front of me is the KU6300 40-inch TV from Samsung. The TV comes in right at $450 on Amazon right now. This 3840 by 2160 UHD TV supports HDR Premium, which is the main reason I grabbed it to go with my PS4 Pro. The standard that the industry is using right now is HDR10, and that's for the Xbox One S as well. So with HDR gaming, there are some things to be careful of. Some cheaper 4K TVs say they have HDR, which is true. The TVs can recognize the HDR support, but might not necessarily give you the full benefit. To stay safe from this, you really need to stay in the mid to high-end tiers of the manufacturer's models. I will link some of the other options in the description below, as well as some other screen sizes. Now that you have your TV at home and plugged into your PS4 Pro, let's go through the steps to ensure that we're actually using 4K and HDR. You start by going to Settings, then scrolling down to Sounds and Screens, then you choose Video Output and select Resolution. Then you're going to want to pick 2160 YUV420. Then have HDR set to automatic, and finally check your video output info to make sure everything is supported. Not all games will support HDR as of right now, but titles like Uncharted 4, Battlefield 1, and Final Fantasy 15 do. You can also check and see what games are PS4 Pro optimized online. I'm using the Pocket Link website, which I will go ahead and link below as well. My overall experience has been pretty awesome so far. The graphics definitely look better and have more detail. The main area where I notice a difference is in the lighting of the games. Games are still running at 30 FPS while being upscaled 4K. My PC, which runs at 1440p, which is 2K, not 4K, is running at 60 FPS and still looks and feels much better in my opinion. What I've been using this the most for though is the 4K streaming content like Netflix uses. As for I/O, you have 3 HDMI ports, optical audio, and 2 USB ports. Also to note is that only HDMI port number 1 supports 4K and HDR output, so make sure to have your PS4 Pro plugged into HDMI port number 1. So to wrap up, when you're buying a 4K HDR TV, remember to make sure that you stay in the mid or high tier of TVs. $450 like this one is probably the lowest you can safely go when there are no sales available. For the PS4 Pro specifically, you want to make sure the HDR10 is present, which Samsung calls HDR Premium. I hope this little guide helps you guys to pick the right 4K HDR TVs for you. Remember to check the links below where I have this TV along with other great options to choose from. Well, that does it for me. As always guys, I will see you later.
Love it.
Enemy keep destroyed.
Kill confirmed. Double kill.
Gonna make you feel better. Now that's how you get tonight. Here we go.
Seems we have fewer Zerg to deal with than our enemy. That's some small comfort at least.
Moving to the beat.
Hey guys, it's Maddie. I'm back in this video to answer some tattoo questions and help you guys out. I'm going to be talking about the myths of tattoos. I'm going to give everyone just a moment to, I guess, adjust to non-bearded Maddie. It's been a while since I've made a video. I've been sick and I've also been healing this throat tattoo, so I'm not going to have a beard for the foreseeable future until I finish the rest of the portions of my neck. So let's get right into it. This one is completely false. Chlorine does not get below the first layer of skin, and it's definitely not